on the table every single night, especially during the weekdays. So there's some tricks and tips. There's a few things that Dr. Christie and I actually put together that can make your life a lot easier. But again, it is about planning. If you guys are going to get this done, it's about planning. It's about getting some things done prior to. So one of the things that we talked about was, beans. How many of you guys have beans in some of your recipes? Yeah. Okay, especially like Meatless Monday or something like that, because it's expensive and when you want to get the good stuff, right? So beans are a great way to add protein and fiber into your diet without having to put meat in the meal. You don't miss it as much. But how many people know that soaking beans is necessary to get all the nutrients out of it? Okay, you must do this. Phytic acid is huge in beans, and basically what phytic acid is, it's an anti-nutrient. So if you're going to use beans, soaking them for a period between 8 and 24 hours. 24 hours is best because you're going to be able to get that phytic acid out. Then, and then freezing them. Putting them in, I like putting things in parchment paper, then putting them in Ziploc baggies and then freezing them. The parchment paper keeps it away from the plastic, but it also helps keep it from freeze or burn as well. Yes?
Can I ask, are you supposed to use a acidic medium? I'm getting kind of conflicting.
Yes, you are correct. I failed to mention that. I usually use either a Himalayan salt or I use baking soda.
I'm a fan of the whey.
Oh, you like the whey. If you have whey available, liquid whey, that's also a good one too. Those are 3.
What about lemon juice?
What's that?
Lemon juice?
Lemon juice could work as well, but it might actually cause an off flavor for your beans. So it's still an acidic medium, so it'll still do what you need it to do. What's that?
Vinegar?
Again, that would probably give you an off, but it would be an acidic medium, so it would work. But the whey doesn't do that. The salt, obviously, it's going to soak up some of that salt, so that's always a good flavor. And the baking soda doesn't have any off-putting flavors at all.
So this is what you put this in with the soaking water.
Yes. And then when you're done, you do rinse the beans thoroughly, and then you can put them in your bag. You can even cook them ahead of time. If you want to do like pinto beans and you like to have refried beans, then you can actually cook a huge batch and then do like a refried. You can mash them up and everything, and then you can actually freeze just the refried. Put it into a pot when you get home. It heats up really, put a little bit of water in there, and it heats up really quickly, and you get refried beans with your chicken, avocado, and I'm hungry. So I'm thinking about this now. So that would be a great thing to do. Rice is also something that you want to soak as well. You can look up soaking and sprouting charts. As a matter of fact, let's put a soaking and sprouting chart on the Dr. Jen's recipes.
Do you have to soak white rice? No,
All
brown
rice.
Okay.
All grains, no matter what they are, need to be soaked. Even corn, if you guys want to make your own corn tortillas, soaking it in lime water is the best way to not only get a good flavor, but again, get that phytic acid out of those grains.
How long are you soaking the rice, and are you adding anything to the water on the rice? Or not?
Yes, what you want to do is, again, it has to be an acidic medium because you're trying to pull that phytic acid out. See, like the baking soda is good, what was it? The whey, and also the salt is really good as well.
Should you put in like tablespoon?
Yeah, I don't really measure, but
We'll put a chart up, and there's like for different amounts you want to put a different amount of the acid with it, and different beans require different amounts of times, or different rices, nuts. It's all the same, but we'll put up a handy chart right here on Dr. Jen's recipes for like this, all the specifics.
Yeah, and some nuts, some beans, grains, they all need different soaking times, so this is optimal. And they even have sprouting times on some things too to really get the digestibility up as well for all these things. Another thing is the crock pot. Crock pot is awesome. How many of you are away from your home during the day of a weekday more than 8 hours? Okay, it's more like 12, right? Okay, drive time and all that. So in most crock pot recipes are what? 4 to 6 to 8 hours, right? Depending on high or low. But you're going to put it on low, but it's 8 hours. Trick. A little more liquid, like a cup of extra liquid, and you put the meat in frozen salt. That way you have to pre-plan. Oh my gosh, I did not thaw out the roast, right? No problem, rock solid right in there. Seriously. Okay? You come home and it's perfect. Perfect. I kid you not, it is absolutely wonderful. Okay? It falls off. So that's another thing. And crock pot is your best friend. Truly is your best friend. So you can do so many things in the crock pot. You can make your bone broth, right? How many of you guys make bone broth in the crock pot? Exactly. So you can make copious amounts of broth, which will be what? A base for soups and sauces, right? Just have a ton in your freezer. It is so easy to take it out the night before. You can actually take it out the night before if it's frozen solid in your freezer, stick it on your counter in the morning, it's going to be perfect. So that way you don't even have to just the night before, stick it out. All right? So always have a lot of broth available. I always have at least 8 to 10 quarts available at any one time because I drink it regularly during the day too. So I always want to have a lot available to me. Another thing that I like to do is, especially when I'm not like this evening, I've got a roast going for my family. So I usually choose, what am I going to make during the week? It's pre-planning those things. What am I going to make during the week? So I know that a roast for our family, I've got 2 small kids, myself and my husband. So a roast, we put sweet potatoes, carrots, and onions in there, and it's going to last us 2 meals. So leftovers, huge, okay? That's huge in our house. But tonight he's going to have a hot meal when he walks in the house. He doesn't have to stop by, Golden Chick or something, okay? All right, so he's going to have a hot meal. It's going to smell good when he gets home, and he's going to think of me. So, even when I'm not there. That's for intermittent, right? So that would be something that you can do too. But also, I like to have pre-chopped bags. There's a few recipes that work really, really well. Chicken soup, for instance, is one of them. Okay? I have a bag that I've got my pre-chopped onions, my pre-chopped celery and carrots. I have, from cooking broth, if you start with the whole chicken, you've got all that chicken meat. You've got a Ziploc bag full of, perfect portion size for the chicken soup. Sometimes I do rice in there too, so I already have some soaked rice that has been cooked too. I usually cook the rice because it's just dumped in there and it's done. The butter that you need to saute, the spices, everything in there, they're all little individual bags of fresh parsley. And I make a few bags of these. I throw them in the freezer. When you get home, no need to thaw it out because, when you saute, those are all your chopped vegetables. They unthaw or thaw out right when you put it in the pan anyway. So you have these freezer packs ready to go. There's another one that I like, and that's actually in the 15-minute meals that's really easy to make too, is it's a curried cabbage with beef. It is the simplest dish, and again, it's on those 15-minute meals on drjensrecipes.com, so you can look this one up. It is so easy and it's cheap. It's a pound of ground beef. It is a half a head of cabbage, just coarsely chopped, a half an onion, 2 teaspoons of, I like to use red curry if you like a little bit spicy. The red curry is good, or you can use yellow curry if you don't like it too spicy. So this is not a curry dish. This is a curry dish. Okay, so if you like the taste of curry, you really like this. A little salt, a little pepper, and also a squeeze of fresh lime at the very end. It is so good. Yes?
So it's okay to then freeze in Ziploc bags?
I like to use the parchment paper, just
Okay.
because it keeps it.
So you cover, that's what I do when I wrap sandwiches for
Yeah.
lunch every once in a while. I wrap it in parchment, then put it in freezer bags or Ziploc bags. I can't give up my baggies quite yet.
No, they're very convenient,
But
so why
yes,
would you?
Yes, okay.
So,
So
but
you do that for the
I do.
freezing? You wrap it first?
I do
in
that. I
parchment?
wrap it in parchment paper first, because that protects it too from freezer burn.
Mhm.
So you have less of a chance of freezer burn, because sometimes you don't know when you're going to pull these bags out, but they're ready to go. Now, ground beef does need to be thawed out, so that's one thing. The chicken, the shredded chicken, if that's in the freezer, that usually once you dump it in the...
Oh, I have a great tip for that.
Oh, go ahead.
So you just put it solid rock frozen in a pan with a little bit of water, turn it over and gently pull the heated part apart with 2 forks and keep turning it.
Yeah, really, sometimes I forget to, thaw out my
I never
meat when
remember
I
to
get
thaw
home.
out
Yeah.
anything, ever.
So just putting it in some warm water usually does it. By the time you're done preparing, 15 minutes, it's usually thawed out enough to where you can put it in your pan, scrape it off, and then chop it up with your, spatula or something like that. So it's not that big of a deal. But, if you do want to thaw it out before, you just take this back out of the freezer, stick it in that morning in your refrigerator, and you have something ready for you. This meal is a one pot meal. So all you do is just stick it in the skillet, put it all together, done. The next day, if you have leftovers and you have some broth left, my husband loves it when I put this in a thermos, but make it a soup, a cabbage and beef curried soup. He loves it. It's one of his favorite lunchtime meals. So it's a great, change it up just a little bit, as leftovers for lunch the next day. Is that close?
Yeah. If you want to review your top 8.
What's that?
To review your top 8.
Yes. Okay, we soak and freeze ahead, crock pot, put in frozen, freeze ahead broths, pre-planning. How many of you guys do not pre-plan your menu for the week? Okay, I can tell you 2 things. Main reason why you're not getting a hot meal on the table, and you're spending so much more money. You are wasting a lot of money. I have made a pledge to myself for the past 2 years. I'm sure some of you know this, but I'm keeping my family's budget under, either at or under, what a family of 4 in the state of Texas would get on food stamps on a weekly basis. So I know it's possible. And I shop at the co-op, I shop at the farmer's market, and I shop at Whole Foods. That's it. Yeah.
What is the amount
$167
per week?
per week. That's a lot of dough. But usually my average is about $135 at Whole Foods. I know. I see these things, oh my gosh, you're getting, because you're eating, when you go to Whole Foods, if you buy a lot of processed foods, you're going to pay at the yin-yang for that.
Right.
Okay, but if you get fruits, vegetables, unprocessed foods, you're not going to pay that much. Spices is a thing that you can save a lot of money on at Whole Foods if you go to the bulk section. For like a little thing of thyme, you're going to pay $4 for that. You go to get thyme in the little baggies, you're going to pay like 29 cents. So really you've got to look in the bulk section. The bulk section really is an awesome thing. Yes?
You mentioned a co-op.
Mhm.
Information for that?
I do. It's in Lucas, which is about 25 minutes up Parker, east on Parker. And